Hey, this is John. I just want to talk to you today about how we can put ourselves in a mind prison, or maybe the prison was put there for us through bad stories, through false stories. And it's a really powerful story about Ina the brown bear from Romania, and they rescued this brown bear who was badly treated a lot of her life. She was kept in a really small cage, not much room to move. And what they found funny is when they moved Ina to a beautiful environment, lots of room, lots of things to experience, that she still stayed within that cage, within that small footprint that she was used to living in. Even though the cage wasn't there, she was still captive by that cage. And so I think this is a really powerful story for us, because we sometimes have opportunities to expand our mind, to expand our employment, expand our relationships. But sometimes it's almost like there's an invisible cage that holds us back. Have you ever found that? Maybe it's a threshold you keep hitting. Maybe you self-sabotage when you get to that point for some reason. Maybe you'll see similar patterns in your life. And so what happens right from when we're a child, sometimes we can be put in a cage in the mind. Now, it can be a religious belief system. It can be something we believe about ourselves. It can be something we believe about the world. Okay, and that can be very strong. That can be an actual literal cage in a sense. But then we grow up and we're not used to walking outside of that perimeter. Maybe we think there's danger there. Maybe we just don't think about it. We don't even realize, but we're living in this free environment. And these days we have every source of information, however frustrating that may be, right? Potatoes are good, potatoes are bad, eggs are good, eggs are bad. But we have access to so much today. We can really enrich our minds. We can experience so much more than our predecessors have. But yet sometimes we can find ourselves in this beautiful big enclosure, but just circling the little spot like Ina the bear. And so this is what I love about challenging stories, challenging belief systems, whether it's a spiritual belief system. Sometimes that cage can be a protection. I often find sometimes when people find a belief, it's almost like they feel protected from the dangers of the outside world. But then as they grow, that cage can actually become a confinement, not a protection. And so what I'd like to encourage you today is to have a think about different areas that you feel limited by in your life. It can be our work, it can be relationships, it can just be how we respond to the current volatile environment, whether we find fears and anxieties pressing on us and they limit us. They stop us thinking openly. They bring us into a scarcity mindset instead of an abundance mindset. And what we want to have a think about is, am I too afraid to just step over that boundary? And then we can start asking ourselves why. And that's the power of doing some story work in your life. It's about starting to say, where are these stories coming from? What story am I telling myself about this situation? And then when you highlight it, when you bring that out into the light, it almost loses its power when you can say, wow, I'm actually afraid of putting myself out there, for example. And when you can acknowledge that, then you can rewrite the story. And that's where the power is. So what I'd love to hear from you today is any invisible cages that you've been able to break through. I'd love to hear your story on that. If you're struggling to even start peel back those layers and those stories, I've got something else that you can try, because oftentimes I get a lot of enrichment from other people's stories. And so you can visit Daily Inspired Life. That site's full of real people, real stories, people who've overcome big things, small things. And what you can do with someone else's story is you can reflect on the narrative, you can reflect on their journey, and you can start challenging your own beliefs around it, your own story beliefs. And so if you find it a challenge to unravel your own false stories, you can use other people's stories to help you along that journey. And so What I want you to do, my hope for you, is that you break through those cages. They don't exist. You have unlimited ability in this day and age. If you feel like you're not worth it, that's a false story. If you feel like you can't do it, that's a false story as well. I'd encourage you to delve into it. And I'm cheering you on. I love you. And I'm celebrating the freedom of your mind, the empowerment of your soul. And I wish you a wonderful day.